Okay. Um, so it should be recording, yes. And now we're gonna do some introductions. And who would like to go first? Say, y'all, again, you've done this so many times in your life. You know what you like sharing, what you don't like sharing. I'm not gonna make you share anything you don't want to. But definitely, if you're willing, share your year in school, your area of research interest, and you can see you're going to see people, on all spectrums of the beginning to the end of master's and PhD here, and that's always been the way 543 works. It's kind of cool that way. And you can share what your dream job would be. How's that for uh, and at the moment, I truly believe you get to change your mind anytime you want and every 2 seconds. I do not know what I want to be when I grow up. I've been thinking about a lot lately. And so, yeah. Uh, and then anything else you want to share? Who wants to go first? I will call on you.
I can go.
Okay, cool. Thanks.
Yeah. Hi guys, my name is Marissa McKeag. I am a doctoral candidate in Dr. Colby's lab. I My research focus is uh, on cultural foods, on world foods, and how study abroad impacts the way that we view our bodies and the way that we view food, our relationship with food, and dietary quality. My dream job is to travel the world and eat. I would love to lead study abroad programs. I'd love to teach world foods classes, food is medicine. Love the academic environment and would love to stay here as much as possible.
Right. Who
I
is
can go next.
next?
Hi everyone, my name is Mamoon. I'm a doctoral student at Dr. Kol's lab, and I'm done with my second year. This fall I will start my third year. And my research interest is the intersection between mental health and diet. I'm especially interested how our food impact our mental health, like especially depression. I haven't started my own thesis or research yet. I'm doing the comprehensive exam this summer. My dream job, I don't know it's a dream job, but I like academia. And yeah, in future, I'd love to do something in academia, especially research and teaching. Yeah, thank you.
I can go next if y'all want. I'm Sam. I just wrapped up my second year as a PhD student in Dr. Colby's lab, and I'm also working on my comprehensive exams this summer. So hopefully, will be a candidate soon. My research interests involve looking at body image and disordered eating behaviors. But I mainly look at like social media data, specifically looking at messaging around body image, just kind of through the lens, like a critical lens, looking at like diet culture, the thin ideal, and how those messages are kind of seeped in those ideas online. Um, and my dream job, I think, would still be in academia. As I want to end up on a beach someday. So that's all.
Nice.
I can go next. Hi everyone, I'm Meg. I am a first year master's student, hopefully finishing my program over the summer. I transferred to Tennessee my sophomore year to join the rowing team here, which has been great. And I've also been I finished my undergrad here, finishing my master's here, both in nutrition, um, hoping to go back home and keep rowing and then also look at the jobs maybe in public policy around nutrition and local government. Really interested in creating different programs to run in after school sites to help kids learn more about nutrition. That was one of the volunteer opportunities I got to do here, and I really loved it. And we don't have anything like it back home. So, really looking to go that route in sort of like teaching and nutrition. Yeah.
Oh, sorry, my mic is muted. I can go next. I'm Rebecca Oyetunji, and I'm a master student in community nutrition in Dr. Kobe's lab. And my research has been around knowledge of food safety among college students, especially in under-resourced countries. So I'm doing a systematic review on that. And what I would like to do in the future is I would like to work in a government like organization whereby I can like a food regulatory organization. I really have passion for that. And what I've been doing this summer, yeah, I've been working on my project. I've also attended community engagement summit, which has really opened my eyes to what I can do for my community. And currently, I'm volunteering every Wednesday. I volunteer in Wesley House community program, like pantry. Yeah, so and it's been fun. Yeah. And I have a daughter. This is my daughter. Her name is Grace. Yeah, and most people in Dr. Kobe's lab already know her. So thank you.
Hello, everybody. My name is Bryce Rivers. I am a senior here at the University of Tennessee pursuing my master's in community nutrition here with Dr. Colby. Going back to jobs, I really don't know. I've been looking on Indeed and Glassdoor, but you know nothing's really sparked my mind yet. So keeping everything open. I got a dog over here, but she just ran away. Her name is London Byron.
You'll hear my dog. So you're babysitting the dog, though, right? Is that right?
Yeah. The last day. So they
Okay.
just said I could do the class here.
Cool. Yeah, you'll hear my Corabella. Cora will bark occasionally. Sorry. Um, she's my love, but she's got a voice on her. All right. So the next thing I'm going to do is go over the syllabus and hopefully make everybody relax because I'm not sure how many of you got anxious when you saw how much we're putting in 7 weeks, or if you were all relaxed, you're like, okay, this isn't bad. I have no idea how it landed. So hopefully everybody will be happy after we go over this really quickly so you know what to expect over the next 7 weeks. And I cannot believe how fast the summer is going. That's my biggest whatever sad point. All right. So for those of you who know me well, um you can reach me in a variety of ways and whatever works is the best way. So you can also keep sending me emails. You can also call me, text me. You can just bug me if you ever need me and you haven't heard back. Please just try again in a different way. There is the Doodle link that's on your syllabus. It's on the Canvas site where you could set up a Zoom link with me anytime. I worry this summer I'm trying to be really good about trying to check back more often with the Zoom link so that I don't miss anybody because I get kind of out of my summer is not any less work. So I don't know why it feels like it's out of sequence. But anyway, I just get worried that I can't always, see the new appointments, but I'll try really hard to not miss anything. So the point of this class is just to give you that broad, greater understanding wherever you are, just that next level. The chancellor would be very happy to hear me use that term. That's our chancellor's term for where we're going this next year is next level, or next 5 years. And so whatever is the next step for you in terms of, I think that we could do the same research class over and over for the rest of our lives, and we would just keep learning something new and something more. So I personally don't think you could ever get bored with research if you find the research you love, because I think everybody could fall in love with research if they learn that it can be so many different things. So after this, you have a general idea about how to collect data, how to communicate about data and research, how to identify good quality research, and specifically for you, wherever you are, again, to be getting that foundation of knowledge within a certain research topic area, and expanding on that where you're already growing. So I don't want this to be any busy work. I want this to be building into what you're currently doing. As I said, it's a totally non-judgmental space. I do not expect you to always know the answers, or to be right when you put something out there. It's just about trying, and that's how we're all going to get to learn more. So please, 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 I hope you feel safe to take that risk and put yourself out there, and to be brave enough not to know is a good way to put it. Don't have to buy a textbook. I hope I was fast enough in getting that out there. These are some great textbooks though. So if you don't have these, and you have room to have a textbook in your life, these are really good sources of information. Another thing that you can do, if as with most of us, you don't probably have extra money laying around, but these sound like great textbooks. They have them at the library, so you can always take them out for a while, even a whole semester if you get to it first. But you can, that way you can flip through and you can learn, and you can really see the same concepts, but from a slightly different perspective. Academic honesty, 100%. Always be academic. Always be honest. Please don't ever plagiarize. Don't put yourself there. Don't put myself there. Don't do that. Disability statement. It's never too late to say this. It's never been said enough. We all think in different ways. Some of you may be hearing this as a student. Some of you, I want you to hear this as the professor you are about to be. So that how we communicate about this is very important. It's that, was it Dr. Seuss, or was it somebody else, or was it Einstein? I don't remember. I love the fact that I put those two together, about that if you, and I'm going to paraphrase this example entirely because I can't remember exactly how it was, but it was something like, if you expect a fish to climb a tree, the fish thinks it's not competent. I don't remember. Does anybody remember the actual quote? Or if you expect a fish to read a book. So in other words, the point is we're all good at different things. I believe in multiple intelligence. There are some people who can take apart an engine and put it back together again. And then there's some people who, if we take apart an engine, it's never going to be, we're never going to get that thing back together again. Having an equal value of multiple different types of intelligence is very important. One of the things that we have to be aware of, that in academia, a lot of us who go into academia because we enjoy it, we tend to think in the same way. However, and we tend to learn in the same ways. However, you tend to learn best is how you're probably going to end up teaching somebody else, because that's what clicks inside here. But the problem is that means we grow more of our own, right? And we create these boundaries where other people feel like they can't come in because their brain may just work in a different way than our brain is working. So as we're both trying to get to the same information and the same understanding, if we're trying to get at it a certain way and somebody else is not understanding it, it's not because they're not intelligent. It's just how that information is being presented, or how it's being approached. So I think that this, calling it a disability in some ways does it a disservice, because it really is more about learning how to approach the information in new ways. So if you ever find that you're hitting a wall, reach out, ask yourself why you might have why you might feel uncomfortable, or like it might be something you feel like you have to hide if you went to a disability services, because that right there is something you want to spend some time with, right? Thinking about why we have those feelings. Because it really is just about learning how to access the information in new ways. So anyway, I hope that someday you will pass that along, as you are professors. Many of you in here are professors, and as you work with other people. Attendance, please come. If you can't come, we'll work it out. Just reach out to me. It's very flexible. Okay, so you did your pre-test. Great. Now, every day I'm going to ask you to participate and talk. And if you don't talk and participate, then I will probably reach out to you, because we need to adjust that. And I know that everybody is different, again, in terms of comfortable. Some people, like, you put me in front of a group and you say talk, I'm like, yay, let's go. That doesn't mean that I do it better. That just means that's the way my brain works, right? I like talking. I like talking in front of people. There are other people who they're less comfortable. That doesn't, it's not a qualitative judgment thing. So work with me if you're not comfortable, because I don't want you to feel like you're losing participation points because you're just not as comfortable. We can figure out a way to help you participate in a way that works for you. But you do have to kind of put yourself out there sometimes because imposter syndrome is real. And as we are talking about knowledge and things that we're gaining, it feels scary to put ourselves out there. Do we know it? Do we have it correct? You know, am I right about this? So sometimes we're quiet, not because we don't like talking to people, but because we're scared we're wrong. So we gotta let go of that. I am going to ask you to pick your topic. Most of you probably already have a topic. If you don't have a topic, yeah, I knew that you were. I didn't want to call you out, but you were actually the only person I know of in particular. So Bryce, if you need to work with me on picking a topic area, then we can do that, and it can literally be anything that you have interest in. It can be something that you've spent more time maybe writing other papers on, you know, because that hopefully was something you were interested in the past. It can be anything that, as long as it's associated with nutrition in some way. um, but yes. So Bryce, that puts you at a disadvantage. If you need a little bit more time to pick your topic, just let me know. But we'll find something that that you like. Each week you're going to take that topic, and as we talk about different types of research design approaches, you're going to be asked to pick a research design methodology with that topic area and put it down on a piece of paper. You're creating some kind of research design. This can be 5 minutes or less. I'm not looking for highly evolved, fully developed grant proposals here. I just want you to show me that you can, with this basic concept of a research design, you put your topic. And no, you don't have to email me directly. As long as you pick something, it's great. But if you need any help, just reach out for anybody and everybody. So the topic selection, you're going to be uploading that, I think it's by next week. I'm pretty sure it's by next week during class is when I need you to upload your topic area. So if you need to reach out before then, let me know. But okay. So you've got your general topic area that you'll have by next week. And then these research designs, every week it'll change. Every week you'll be taking that same topic area and building it within a different methodology, basically. You'll then spend a few minutes during class talking about what you came up with and your idea. I am going to do a little bit of paired work. So you'll probably take first, I'll break you into pairs and you'll spend 5 minutes in a breakout room or 10 minutes, whatever we need, 15, we'll figure it out. Where you talk to each other about your ideas, and then that way you can clean them up together, and then you present them to the full group. So it gives you a chance to think of things that might or might not have made sense before you talk to everybody about what you're going to pitch for your idea. The article summary, you are going to try to find an article that's on one of the topic areas, and you'll see when you look at the syllabus that there are actually multiple methods that each week will be covering, so it doesn't all have to be on the same thing. But you find an article. I encourage you to try to find, you don't have to, but try to find an article in your topic area using that design is like the best. Don't burn a lot of time. If you can't find it, it's okay, move on. You can pick it, you can be a different topic area if it has to be. But ideally, just so that it is not busy work, you pick something that's actually helping with your writing that you're actually going to use. And then you'll just spend a few minutes talking about your article summary. I did put that you'll do a slide. It can be just a single slide. It doesn't that you're going to have a slide that you're going to show the group, so that way you can have something to refer to. It does not, again, don't spend a lot of time on it, please. So the paper itself, it's a 5 to 10 page paper. It can be, and if you scroll down, I'm not sure if you've seen this. I don't know how much time y'all spent looking at your syllabus, but if you go to what page is this? Hold on, I gotta make it big to be able to see. If you go to or I should Tell you what, I'll share screen. That's smart, huh? Wouldn't that be smart? Share screen. Here we go. All right. So if you scroll down here where you see the yellow, this is where you would have gotten much more relaxed if you saw this yellow, because yes, it's a 5 to 10 page paper, but it can be something you've already written. Pretty good, right? That's a good deal. Um, and it can be from previous coursework on your topic area. So it can be something you've already written on your thesis or your dissertation. If you are going to be using something previously, you just want to disclose that, and so you just let me know what you're going to be using. It cannot be your comps. I should have said that though, for those of you who are doing comps. Nope. We can't do it. That's yeah, that's a rule that's outside of my control. But it can be for those of you who are working towards your dissertation work, it can be the first part of your chapter one lit review, for instance. For those of you who are working on articles, as I call you guys out, and I don't think anybody has problems with this. I've got so Meg and Rebecca, you guys, you can use your introduction from your actual article that you're working on for your other class here. And that's absolutely fine. So again, it makes it to where you are not wasting time. You're able to capitalize and really, build on time. So the only thing that will probably be a little bit of will not be a straightforward thing for everybody is the second half of your paper, though, is going to be a little different, because there you're going to be, again, not your comps. So you guys, sorry, but for you guys who are working on your comps, you can put your dissertation grant work, your dissertation, excuse me, not grant, your dissertation project, you can put in here. It'll be simplified because this is a 5 to 10 page paper. If you really need to spend more than 10 pages, just let me know. But we'll try to keep it to that. So sometimes the cutting it down is the harder part. But for like Meg and sorry, Bryce, I don't have a reference for you to be able to throw in there, but for Meg and for Rebecca, this would be something new that I don't think you've already created, but it's still a project, a research project. For here, it can be, you can build on one of the previous weeks where you've put something through as a one page, where you just kind of talked about it for 5 minutes, one page, and you really like that idea for that research design, and you can expand on it here. So again, I'm not going to be asking you to recreate something that doesn't have to be recreated. If you like something, you can build on it. Does that make sense? Ask me questions about that, because I know that's a little different to be able to use your previous work. Everybody's good? Okay, cool. At the end of
sorry.
Sure.
When you say disclose it where, just in the initial paper somewhere at the start, or tell
just
you?
Email me. Yeah,
okay.
Just email me. Yep. Yeah. Just so we know at the beginning of the semester, I think that would make it to where all the other faculty would be comfortable with what I'm doing, because it's, it's fair and it's disclosed and it's, anyway. It is, I mean, because this course is usually a full semester, and to make this not silly stressful, because there's no reason to make it stressful. I really felt like this was just the best way to make it, to pare it down to where we're still getting all the competencies and skills, but just within a timeline that's still not, it's kind of relaxed and not insane. That's my idea. Okay, so at the end of the semester, the very last class, everybody's going to have time to share, so it's going to be kind of like a mini lit review. So it is very much like a mini thesis or dissertation, but it's mini, because it's only about 10 to 12 minutes of presentation. So about half of that, about 5 minutes, you get to talk about your topic area in general and the literature that you found. And then 5 minutes ish to talk about your research design that you think would be this great research project that could be done. So that, and this one, I will hopefully touch on this a little bit throughout the semester. Normally, when we're in person, I make you play lots of theater games, and you guys get out of that. But it's fun. So, trying to not have too many bad vocal ticks or ums or yums, or and as soon as I say that, that's all I will hear myself do. But see, as soon as I do that, I cannot not do uhs and so forth there. Try to avoid your vocal bad habits, be aware of them, practice beforehand. Again, we're all different. Some people it's just really comfortable and they can get in front of people and just talk. Some people that's your nervous space. If it is your nervous space, that means you practice before you get here. You will record yourself a couple times and listen to yourself back to see what your habits are, to see what your strengths are. We talk about using eye contact. Even though you're still online, you still feel like somebody's actually talking to you. It's kind of why I also asked to have your videos up, because that way I'm looking at your faces. Y'all don't know I am, but I am. I'm looking at your faces as I'm talking to you. So I feel like I'm in a conversation. Having those times where you have silence, being able to use that vocal cadence so it's not all just one monotone, right? You got ups and you got downs. One of the benefits I run into when I'm online versus in person talking is that you cannot see my hands moving. But my hands are out to the side and they're moving and having fun. It's one of the things I enjoy about being online, so that I don't have to worry about not speaking with my hands too much. Uh, anyway, so you again are allowed to use slides you've created before or slides you will use in the future. I just don't want you to do busy work here. Any questions on that? I will give you a little sheet that you will use to evaluate your see ums. As soon as I say it, that's all I'm going to hear, me saying So you will be evaluating your colleagues here and classmates and giving them feedback. And I will, it depends on how it comes in, I will synthesize that and give that back out, but I make sure it's nice and, try P&P sandwiches, positive, negative, positive, right? We try to point out there's always something positive you can point out and something that's constructive that we can give to each other as feedback as well. So, but I'll clean that up. So this week, you know what we're talking about. We'll see how much I get through. I'm already talking too much. I want to talk about a bunch of other little things, at least a little bit. You can see, again, you can see one of the things I say is and I hope this doesn't offend anybody, but if your speech patterns could be made into a drinking game easily, you might have a problem. So, and if you don't know what that means, just let me know. I can expand on that. Okay. So you can see what we're going to be talking about each time. And this gives you a chance beforehand to look things up, either in the textbooks that you borrow from the library if you didn't buy them, or maybe you already have a research textbook that you can just go and you can look it up. And of course, we have basically the web that gives us lots of resources to get all this information ahead of time. So you can use the pre-exam that I gave you to fill in, and you can get kind of comfortable with these ideas. And then we can end discussions and games. We can take it to the next level to where you understand it in a different way, looking for those Helen Keller moments. And again, I don't mean that bad. I think of that as a really positive thing. Do y'all know what I mean by the Helen Keller moment? Okay, cool. Do y'all know who Helen Keller was? Okay. Rebecca, have you heard of her? She was a woman who was born, I don't remember what years, a long, long time ago. I want to say 1800s. I don't know. Yeah, so, I don't know, sometime, a long time ago. She was born, and actually, she was not born she was born with deafness and loss of sight, but it was something like around age 3, I think. Somebody can look it up and fact check. I don't remember the actual all the realities for life. Anyway, but as a very young child, she could not hear or see. And so she was born to an affluent family, and she had wild child. Because think about it, you can't imagine not being able to hear, see, or understand anything in your world. And that's just those to me is kind of how it feels like being a scientist. Is we're going out there with all this unknown things in the world. How do we see them? How do we hear them? How do we know them if we don't know that they're out there, right? That Helen had a amazing woman come in, um, and I don't remember her name, but she was an amazing teacher that came in to work with her and really held her to higher standards of behavior. That she felt like there was an intelligent person in there, just not a wild child who could understand. And so she was using sign language in her hand and trying to get her to understand. So it was, I think, water was the breakthrough to where it was that moment where the child figured out what was happening and feeling in her hand was explaining what she was feeling of the water going by. And it was that eureka moment where the two things came together and that light bulb came on, right? To use lots of different analogies. And yeah, anyway, so we all get to have our own moments of epiphany where something just sparks in a new way all the time, if we're lucky. And that's the beautiful part about learning, right? So we're going to start to learn and think about these things in new ways, in different ways. All right. Any questions about the syllabus from here? I'll stop sharing. And now I want to go fact check myself and learn all the things that I've missed. Mamoon, had you heard of her before? Helen Keller? No.
Yeah, I heard about her. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So now everybody needs to go watch the movie about her life. So cool. Can you imagine? Can you imagine teaching? And the teacher that taught that, that's beautiful. Okay. All right. So now here's my first big question. Because this is a time where we get to talk about like just, I mean, seriously, the what's it called? The privilege that we have being able to ask ourselves these kinds of questions is, I think, a beautiful thing. So the first one I'm going to ask you is, why do we do research? Let's start there. What's the point of research? There's no right or wrong.
I always think of it as looking to just build other people's understanding in your own. Like, I think there's always a purpose of research. And for me, that's always collecting data that's out there to help other people understand things.
Cool. Somebody else.
I think I would say, I feel like I've been using the phrase a lot lately that we're all floating on a rock. And so I feel like the point of research to me is that we're all floating on a rock and that I feel like, at least in my eyes, like the ultimate goal of research is to better humanity. Like the knowledge that we obtain will hopefully go on to improve like quality of life for people, whether that's like through like a quantitative experience of like, gathering like data that can help improve like someone's like health status or like their quality of life or their longevity of life, or like a qualitative approach that's more like their essence of experience, like their well-being, like their daily lives, I guess. Like, so I'd say just bettering one another.
Yeah. It's funny because I agree entirely. We have very similar philosophies there about why we do research and how and kind of what Meg was saying too, and that progress, how I think technology is so cool. I think medicine is so cool. I think that learning the best way to teach and learn. I mean, I get it really excited about the idea. I see just about everything around me as a potential research question. And I fundamentally do want to make a difference and make people's lives better, make the world better, right? I will throw this out there as we move on from this concept, just to as to throw it in. My first mentor at the USDA when I took my first job after my PhD, amazing researcher, did some of the foundational. The center I went to actually had been where they did most of the mineral research that we know. Most of what we know about minerals really came from the lab where I first took my job, and that's what they'd done forever. And he was a psychologist by training, and he did experiments with rats and different minerals and so forth. And he said that if you were trying to do research for the betterment of anybody and for some, reason like that, then you're not doing research. Research should be to the goal of acquiring knowledge only with no kind of qualitative perspective, no agenda, no trying to drive it any one direction. He said, once you put a drive on there, once you put a public health directive on there, you're losing what research is. I'm not saying I agree with him still this many years later, but it was just such a neat moment for me to have somebody I respected so much and has he done such amazing research have such a different view on what research was. It's kind of cool. It's kind of weird. So just challenging your thoughts just for a second there. I'm not saying either one's right. And I haven't given up my philosophy. I still want to make a difference. But anyway, what is evidence based, though? That's something that people throw around in our field a lot, right? What does it mean to have something that's evidence based?
I think evidence mean taking informed decision based on scientific research finding, the best practice that is available, and yeah,
How do you
evidence.
know when something's evidence based? And I can tell you there are faculty within our college that have very different opinions on this. And there are, I definitely, you'll always find me over on this corner going, yeah, I see lots of different, there are lots of different truths. I am aware of people see it very differently. So there's some people who think there's very definite, this is evidence-based research. This is not. Everybody take 2 minutes, 1 minute, minute and 30. I want you to, on your computer right now, to search what is evidence-based research or evidence-based practice. Excuse me. See if you can find an answer. Wish I had the little music going in the background. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, share out. Anybody find an answer? What is it? Is it that clear cut? Is there an agreed upon definition?
I mean, when I just did a quick search, I thought
Mhm.
this was interesting that it lists three pillars of evidence-based practice.
Mhm.
It's research evidence, which is like the research design, like RCTs,
Mhm.
cosmetic reviews, and then clinical or professional expertise, and then
Right.
like values and preferences, the unique goals, circumstances, culture, and choices of the individual receiving the intervention or care. I feel like maybe
Mhm.
perhaps the vast majority of practitioners and faculty would maybe agree that that's the baseline, but I wonder if maybe there's differences in like how those three are weighed. Like maybe someone would say that the research design matters more than like the expertise, like or something. I don't know.
Oh yeah, there definitely would be plenty of people who would agree with that. So I guess the main thing that I'm saying is there's not. a definitive end all definition of what creates something evidence based. And so, like for instance, the USDA with their an extension, they're supposed to be using evidence based, research based practice, um, but they allow practice based to be part of it, counts as evidence based. So it doesn't have to meet a certain criteria of type of design or a preponderance of evidence, that we'll go into in a little bit. So there is more variation than people are probably comfortable with. Now, a long time ago, so okay, you've heard about the evidence, the EAL, the Evidence Analysis Library. What is it? The Academy or CDR Academy has, I guess. I worked with the USDA when the Academy was first coming up with that, and they were actually coming up with that because of the Center for Nutrition Policy and Promotion for the dietary guidelines. So it was back when the dietary guidelines didn't really have a system that it was using to look at the quality and grade the evidence. So it was coming up with a system to grade evidence. And so if something's not, as Sam pointed out, an RCT, and if it's not an experimental design, can we really come up with causality? Well, talk to me about smoking. Or do we have enough evidence to say smoking is associated with cancer? I think so, right? Yeah, most people would agree. It's on labels and everything, packaging. But do we do an RCT with smoking and cancer? No. So it's not always, even when you go to that extreme of saying I have to have an RCT to be able to talk about causality. It's not always the case. Food security, and so just recognize we won't spend a ton of time in this class. I could, it's fun, talking about the evidence based, but just be aware that there are, and we'll get into the systematic reviews a little bit today. Don't worry, I won't talk forever. That we do have systems out there that allow us to grade the research to look at, okay. But what do we mean by publication bias?
I think publication bias means when we only publish the positive results and totally ignore the negative results to make it look good.
Well, basically that you can't, it's very, very, very hard to publish non-positive results. Why do you think that is? I think there's two reasons. Personally, I think there's two reasons. What do you think? Why can't you publish null results very well?
I don't know, maybe people will not read that.
Exactly. That's the first. It's not as exciting, as not as much of a hook. You don't get people's attention, it's just not that exciting, right? So there's this push to have exciting research published that people are going to want to read, because even in publications, the journals are fighting to get people to pay attention to them and read, because that's how they get increased publication, the impact factor, and that's how they get increased money revenue. So it comes down to money, money, money still, and which is sad. What's the other better reason?
Doesn't always reflect positively on the funding source or the institution that hosts.
Oh, that's a negative reason. I wouldn't put them better. I agree. I would say that's a good reason though, right?
Yeah.
So yes, that is true. And I wish that didn't exist, because you would want people to fund science, not pay to get a certain outcome, right? But you're right. That's another reason. Your funders want something published positive out there. Totally right. What is an actually good, morally important reason? This may be too hard. I'll just go ahead and give you the answer, and then we'll talk about it again when we get to experimental design next week. It is much harder to prove that something does not exist. It's fundamentally easier to have a well-designed study and prove that something causes something. It's very hard to prove conclusively that something does not happen. It's just harder. So it's just you're taking a bigger, like, you have to really trust they did great research to 100% say this does not cause this. And even when they're pretty confident, they often can be wrong. And if I had time, I'd talk about cranberry juice and UTIs. Go look up that. That's an interesting history there. Um, so, okay. Peeking, tiptoeing into doing literature reviews. When we do literature reviews, do y'all know what gray literature? Yeah, some of you know. Okay, what is gray literature? I should put it that way. Does anybody know? Oh, okay, cool. That's interesting. Okay, so gray literature is literature that's not in peer-reviewed journals. So there are all sorts of things that can be actually gray literature. And so gray literature can include dissertations and theses because they didn't used to include, now there are a lot of chapters that go into, public peer review journals, but that's not what it used to be in a dissertation or thesis. It used to be, you just wrote chapters and then that's what you published and it was sitting on a shelf somewhere and nobody, I said this the other day, nobody, but even the people who loved you probably didn't read it. But um, that's where you were more likely to find the null results. So that address that publication bias somewhat. Okay. So what I'm gonna do is it time? I think I'm right at time for a break. Okay, everybody, we're 2 minutes early. Okay, everybody get up and take like a 10-minute break, and then can we finish up? And I'm gonna do just a little bit more. Otherwise, there's no way I'll finish this semester. Um, and yes, I can run through the last bit of yeah, I'll be able to do the last bit faster. I'll stop asking so many questions. Take a 10-minute break. Stretch, move. I'll do the same.
Ricky just replied to me saying she missed the email, but she might be coming. I told her to still
Okay.
join.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
No,
Thank you.
no problem.
Perfect timing. Hey,
Hello, I'm so
how are
sorry.
you doing? That's okay. I'm actually recording this,
I
so
just
you can
got
actually
that.
go back and hear the first chaos and fun part. This was, because I'm going to be
Incredible.
rolling.
Thank you.
I'm going to be rolling through the wrapping up. Hopefully, if I can not talk too much in the last little bit. But I'm going to send to you right now in the chat. The very first assignment that everybody had was to take a pre-exam. So I'm going to send it to you. And if you can spend about an hour afterwards, sometime between now and next week, or before you look at other stuff, and do your best to fill it out. Just, a sentence or two, not a ton. And feel free to say, I don't know on things. And feel free to guess, but please don't look things up. That's my only request. Okay. So let me find that and send it to you.
Yeah, I did get a chance to kind of read through the syllabus, so I saw there was that pre and post and some of that. I
Yeah.
kind of made myself a guide, so I appreciate that.
Cool.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Well, you'll see after you do this, this will be a good guide for the whole semester. So let's see. That's right, because I was going to share it with you, but then I figured sharing it with you without context might be mean. So I decided not to do that. So let me do it two ways. Putting it
Yeah, I
in.
apologize. I had my therapy session rescheduled, and I saw a text from Meg, and she reminded me that this was happening, so I appreciate it.
You're fine. No problem at all. So let's see. That should have come to you. Now I want to put in chat too. Let's see. Whoops. Let's see. Oops. Here it is. Okay, so click on that and then download it. So don't type in there. I don't know if it'll let you, but just download it. And then there, after you spend an hour doing your best on it, just upload it to the Canvas site. And there's a place for the pre. So just let me know if you have any questions on that. And we were taking a 10-minute break, probably 2 minutes into it, or actually maybe four, but we're going to pretend to. And then everybody needs to stand up and stretch. And then I'll let you tell me if you have any questions about this syllabus since you looked over it.
Not too much. I kind of was looking into the paper. I know you said that we could use previous material that we worked on.
Yes.
That's kind of my plan. I think I've talked to you
Cool.
a little bit about my fridge idea, and so I
Yeah.
was going to try to kind of implement that into this.
Nice.
Um, I downloaded a couple of the materials so that I could send them to
Mm-hmm.
you directly. I saw you had said letting you know that first week
Mm-hmm.
just
Yes.
what we planned on using.
Mm-hmm.
So just getting that to you was really my um
Okay.
big thing, making sure I could use that material as well.
Yeah. Sounds good.
Awesome.
And they depending on when you looked at the syllabus, the one big change I made was originally I said 10 pages, mostly to be nice to people because I didn't want it to be too much longer than 10 pages. And I know it's hard to cut down.
Mhm.
And I want it to be something people can use. But then thinking about for some people, they're going to be focused on the articles they're writing, and
Mhm.
so the introduction section for them is shorter, much shorter than 10 pages. So having 5 pages, 5 to 10, made it fit better with a wide variety
No,
of
that's fair. Yeah, because I
writing.
had saw you said the first 5 pages were that review of lit and
Yeah.
filling in those gaps, and then the 6 to 10. But so you
So I've
still
changed
kind
it.
of
Yeah.
hinging on not over 10.
Well, no, because it's now I'm saying it's 5 to 10. So it could be 2.5 pages is lit review and
Okay.
2.5 pages is so it's anything in that spectrum.
Well, that was very nice of you.
Yeah, that was the primary change that happened. So
Awesome. No, that was super nice. Thank you for letting me know.
no
Are we
problem. I
still
just didn't
working with 10 references?
yeah, yeah,
Okay.
that's reasonable. Yeah.
No, yeah, no, definitely. I was just making sure I
Yeah.
have the right stuff
Oh
written.
no, no, I wasn't saying to you. I was thinking in my head as I looked
Yeah,
over here.
yeah,
Okay, yeah, 10 is fine because I think as if you want to know about a topic area, you're going to have at least 10 things you've looked at.
that's
Um,
fair. Yeah.
yeah,
I feel like I've already looked at more than that on
yes,
what
I
I'm
would,
thinking of. So that's super
yeah,
easy. Also,
yeah.
hello, Rebecca. It's so nice to see you.
Hi, Ricky. Yeah, how have you been?
Good. Trying to, I actually, my kitchen is torn apart right now. I'm
Ooh,
replacing my sink and hooking up a dishwasher and maybe trying to install my garbage disposal. I
ooh.
think I'm a plumber, I guess. I don't know.
It's summer, so you can do anything you want.
Yeah, I just had two like sawhorses delivered so that I could use a big electrical circular saw to cut. I just cut a countertop. I don't know who
Oh
I
wow,
am.
that's
You have
impressive.
the old time, so good job.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. It's this and renovating my kitchen. So,
that will make you enjoy both more
yeah, no,
because when you're
absolutely.
here, you're not worried about the kitchen, and when you're in the kitchen, you're not worried
A
about here.
thousand
Yeah,
percent. This is a
yeah,
nice thing to, at some point, I can't look at PVC pipe anymore and cut
right.
and like figuring out drains. It's a lot.
It
Um,
is. Yeah,
yeah.
renovations can be. Yeah,
I
yeah.
can do some minor things, but I don't go I plumbing,
I don't mess with
I can
plumbing or
change a
electricity.
sink, but I
I can
can't change
build.
like foundational plumbing.
Yeah, no, I can build. I feel like I've watched my husband do enough with plumbing. He wouldn't want me to do anything with plumbing, and I wouldn't without supervision, to be honest, just because I
Yeah.
know how wrong it can go. Um, but I feel like I've got a pretty good like I wouldn't make huge mistakes.
Well, this all
Maybe.
started about 6 months ago. My bathroom sink, I just had some old piping that came open and it kind of put water in the bottom of
Yes.
the, bathroom.
Yep.
And so I
Yep.
learned how to replace that. I replaced the countertop, I installed a new
Cool.
sink and plumbing. And I also bought a kitchen sink at the time because I was like, I can do anything. So now here we are 6 months later, and I'm getting around to it finally.
Yeah. Yeah, I used to I told my friends I wanted to do a reality whatever, not TV show, but
Like a
whatever.
renovation kind
Sure,
of.
whatever. But it was this is all just funny, not real. But it was going to be called Sarah Tries. And so I was going to like have be given that, a task, like, put in the kitchen plumbing or something. And I would
Yeah.
do my best and I would put it together and it would work the way I think is going to work. And then you'd have an expert come in and actually like fix it and show me how it actually is supposed to go.
Yeah, that part is pretty humbling sometimes.
Yeah, Sarah Tries. That was it.
Yeah. So far, I can replace an electrical outlet. I can do that very well. I
Nice.
know I can replace any of my lights in the house.
Cool.
I can replace any of the sinks. I can't mess with like
See,
toilets and showers and stuff, but
I've messed with toilets and showers more than electricity. The
well,
electricity,
when it comes
if
to
you
like
don't
moving
do
them,
it
I
right,
guess.
yeah, still, the electricity, you don't do it right. That can be,
No, it's terrifying. I'm scared every time I do it.
yeah. I mean, you've
I
got the
put a
little
lot of
thing that
trust in that little like beep 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 beep
that
beep beep
tells you
beep.
it's off, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I
Making
don't
sure you have that.
I do
Good.
it properly just without YouTube is my teacher. So
Yeah. See, my husband is so handy. It's just, and the weird part is we've been married forever, so I'm not sure when he picked it up, but he's just kind
yeah.
of good at it. But
Yeah.
so we had a house that in Old North that we got it was going to renovate entirely, and I thought it was going to be had this romantic view of like we're going to tear it all down and put it all together, and I
Yeah.
learned he can do anything. He doesn't want to do anything.
Yeah. I mean, that's
It's
impressive. All of my ingenuity just comes from being raised by a single mother. So it was, we didn't have the money
yeah,
to fix it, so we had to figure it out.
figured out. Yeah.
That's about where it comes from.
I- but it's so weird because I mean, I love building things. I love projects. It's my favorite thing. Besides research, obviously, but
Yeah.
because I really do love research, but um, and my husband's so handy, right? And I mean, he'll come home and I've built walls before, like I do. I've built entire walls upstairs and redid them
Hmm.
anyway. And neither of my boys build anything. It's not handed down like that. That's not
That was kind of
a thing.
the guy I dated previously was one of those like would build anything. And it wasn't
Mhm.
always, maybe to code, but it worked.
Yeah,
But he could
that's
do
yeah,
any of that. And
yeah,
my now lovely, amazing partner, he's there for me emotionally, but that man,
right.
he pulled out his drill and it had a power cord on it. And I was like, I've never even seen one of those. Like, what? So
Weird.
I'm definitely the handy one. But also, I bought my home when I was coming to UT, and I take pride in fixing things on my own. It's
Yeah,
fun to be able to do that. And like a friend comes over and I'm like, you see that sink? I did
right.
that.
I did
That
that.
was me. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
very much so.
the cold is cold and the hot is hot. So I mean
Yeah,
something's
well, it's
right.
not always that way in life either.
I did buy for the first time fiberglass repair kit, so I'm gonna try to fix my shower has a small
Uh,
crack, and so that's a new one. We'll see how that goes.
yeah, yeah. The make sure you have the right
Yeah,
masks.
the
That's what I.
masks and everything to wear.
Yeah,
That seems
yeah,
like
that's the
that's
biggest
the
thing.
biggest part.
Yep,
Yeah,
biggest part there
for
by
sure.
far. Yeah. Okay.
I
So
am
I
really actually excited about this course. I just, not
good.
that this is about me, but I did want to tell you that this is, I think Meg and I took a research course together last semester. And I feel like, especially with the accelerated program for the clinical,
Right.
you don't get to dip into that research side quite as much. And
Yeah.
I am just like, I literally broke my last Mac trying to learn R language and
Oh
like
well.
Python. So
Yeah, I can
I'm,
see R and Mac not getting along, and
yeah,
Python definitely
no,
not with Mac.
no. I had to
Don't play.
upgrade to a Mac Pro
Uh,
just to even be able to open them. So,
yeah, does not play well with others. That's for
but
sure.
it's been fun to run like hypothetical, result panels and kind of
Right.
seeing, I don't know what I'm doing in there, but it's really fun to
Yeah.
learn. And kind of Rizwan is one of the people who kind of got me on all of that. And like
Good.
his brain is just so big.
Yeah. Yeah. Siobhan is our stats person in our lab.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
guys, if y'all can hear me in the background, go ahead and come back from your break. Sorry, they've already been with me for 2 hours.
No, no, understandable. I will plan
They're,
on hopping on and watching this video immediately.
we'll see. You can put it on 2 times speed. It'll make it more entertaining. Oh, kitty, kitty.
Oh,
Hello, baby. Doesn't
Say
even
hi
hear.
to the people.
Oh, kitty,
Say
kitty.
hi. Oh my
Oh,
goodness.
you're so sweet.
Yeah, I'm a menace.
Love, love, love it.
if we're showing off pets, I've got two sleepy pups right here. You can't see them because of my blurred
Are they
background,
blurb
but they're right here just
insert?
snoozing.
I got it. We'll see. I do have to intervene. Cora, come here, good girl. I did this thing where I trained her the other day. Come here, girl. No, nope, didn't work. Come
Sam,
here, girl.
what's the
Come here,
cat's
girl.
name?
Her name is
Cora,
Reese.
come here,
Risk.
girl.
Like,
Reese.
She's at
oh,
least
okay.
being somewhat quiet.
So
She got
cute.
she got better. Oh, hello, baby. Hey,
Oh.
Cora, you're not showing off well at all.
I've got
Reese
Cloud
is.
and Maya.
Oh,
There you are.
they're so cute. Come here, girl.
Oh.
That's right. So I tried to train her to stop barking by giving her love when she would come in. So when she would bark, she'd get lots of love and then she would, she's gotten better than she was, but she's not going to go back over. She thinks she came over to say hi. Now she'd go back over and bark. All right. So we were talking about deep thoughts about why do we do research? What's the point? And then we were talking about grade literature and and publication bias and all of that good stuff. And how do we prove the null, right? And so we were going to move into a little bit some terms. Y'all know the term narrative review at all? Is that a term that's come up before? Saying no's. So narrative review is more, it's more what you guys do in a lit review and what you've probably done in classes and stuff and what you're going to do for the first, like, chapter 1 if it's not a systematic review. So a narrative review is flexible. It's where it's broad, that broad overview of the literature. But then what's the problem? What do you think we introduced by doing that? It's a benefit because it's broad and you can talk about lots of different things, right? And most of the time when I throw out something like that, it's going to be the most obvious, basic answer that's like, duh, is what I'm looking for. So if it seems too simple, that's probably the answer. So how about bias? So if you were the author and you're writing a lit review and there's nobody there deciding which articles you include and which ones you don't include, could you pretty effectively, come up with whatever conclusions you want to come up with or lead the reader to thinking this is definitely the answer by what you pick from the literature? Yeah. So the narrative can be really great and be flexible and give you this really beautiful, big, broad view on a topic area. And what you'd be doing for this class is a narrative review. So I'm not saying they're all bad, right? That's what we've done forever and ever for chapter 1s, for theses and dissertations and proposals and grant, the introduction for you can think of the introduction section for just about every peer-reviewed paper you've ever read. It's going to be a narrative review, right? It's a literature review that's, small, but all of that, you have to always think about that it is susceptible to that author bias. Now, whether or not it's intentional, whether or not it's, not intentional. It can still be there. How strong it is, it just depends on the person, situation, what their the background they come into it with. Um, we go in looking for certain information, right? Very often you go in and I think the more research you do, the worse we are for it. That I feel like I could sit down and write a literature review and then go find the articles references for it because I've already read it, I already know it. I've read it so many times that I'm like, okay, I can just write this. Well, the danger is, especially as we get older, is that the years go by faster and faster. And so you're not keeping up with everything that's published is so hard to do, even with the Google alerts and everything else. So it's just very easy to fall into a real bias. Okay. So if we're going into the literature review, what's the next, you know, what do we do to take care of this? Not narrative. What's the next level up?
Systematic review?
Yes, exactly. So what makes something a systematic review?
I think systematic review is kind of narrative review, but we do it systematic way. Like we
Mhm.
set some rules, like do the inclusion criteria, exclusion criteria. Then we
Yes.
maintain a procedure. Yeah.
Yep. And it's all about trying to reduce that bias is really what it's
Yeah.
about. And having a priority, so decisions you make ahead of time, right? Of that inclusion exclusion. So you're saying this is my research question, and Rebecca could laugh at this because sometimes you have to go back to your research question, right? Meg too. We have to go back and think about it and maybe adjust based on what we find slightly, right? Because it's too broad. And then so ideally it's all a priority and you make no changes. And that's one of the reasons why you actually have to register your reviews before you finish them, before you do them, because that way it keeps that bias under control. It keeps you from being able to readjust, you know, conveniently. That would might maybe create uh, more control than should be there in terms of what answers you find, right? Okay, so but under systematic reviews, so if you are not comfortable with what a systematic review is, because obviously we don't have time in this class to do everything at all, you will grab a couple systematic reviews, just three or four or five, just look at their result, their method section and see what they do in their method section. That's going to tell you how a systematic review is done. So take a few minutes, run through that sometime in your life. You're going to have some colleagues, peers on this in this class who could share their papers with you at the end of the semester, and you could see what their methods were, and that will give you a feel for that. Um, Talk to me about um, there are different types of systematic review. What's a scoping review?
Is
Okay.
scoping review so I know with like a meta-analysis, it's a very specific thing. Is scoping review more broad? So it's combining multiple? I might be off
Um,
on this.
Yeah. Okay. So because you mentioned the meta-analysis.
I'm kind
Um,
of combining layers there, I guess.
yeah, yeah. So it's the scoping review is not a meta-analysis. Okay, so it's gonna be systematic, yes. We're trying to look for all of the information um on a certain topic area. But the difference is between the scoping and the systematic is that how do I put it? The scoping is not trying to determine whether the intervention is effective, for instance. So it's not trying to answer that research question. Instead, it's going to tell you, more like what is all the evidence that exists about this this topic area and like what are the gaps. It's going to focus more on like how has that research within that topic area that's trying to understand that topic area? How has it been conducted?
It
As
kind of,
opposed to trying to answer a question.
is it kind of
Uh,
saying everything within that scope of practice?
yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Like that's
Yeah,
kind of where my head goes with it.
it's probably, I never even thought about why the word. That's an interesting question.
Well, and
Now I
that's
want
probably just my clinical side being like
to,
staying within your scope of practice. And that
yeah,
that's where it
that makes,
related to me.
and that's such a wonderful dumb moment that I wonder if that's really, yeah, it makes sense. I mean, it's the full scope. So yeah, that makes complete sense to me. Um, okay, but the meta-analysis, this is an easier one to always know. So what's the meta-analysis do? It's very easy to know if something's meta-analysis. Whereas the scoping versus systematic, I think, is a little bit more nuanced. The meta is easier because what does it include?
Well, I brought it to the table, so I'm happy to
Sure.
finish my thought.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
just statistically taking
Statistics.
multiple
Yes.
studies
Yes.
and giving us an outcome that we can kind of use as that
Exactly.
pinpoint.
Yeah. So the crazy part, this is where I will tell you my strengths and weaknesses. I am very, very, very happy with my stats occurring on the magic side of the curtain. I do not have to understand what happens behind that curtain. I do not have to understand how the formulas work. I want to know what to push in my R or my SPSS or my SAS, or those are the only ones I use. I want to know what test to run and how to understand the outcomes, and that's all I want to know. I want to know when it's appropriate to do this and what that means. So I find meta-analysis for me for some reason to always feel a little bit like it's in that I have to trust the magic behind the curtain, just a little bit, just because it hurts my brain. I understand that what they're doing is there. I just maybe it's not. I don't believe it. I don't entirely believe it. That's my problem with it. Maybe that's what it is. That I just think because once you learn enough about stats, you realize how weak it really is. To be honest, there's a lot of weakness in stats. We do everything we can to make them stronger. um the thing that I where I got really uncomfortable with stats is when you really realize that people who know what they're doing can manipulate it to get whatever answer they want. And that's when I really got disgruntled with stats, is when I got to that level. So for the meta-analysis, think about that. First of all, they're only able to really run the statistical analysis when the data are collected in a way that they can group together, right? That you can put them together. So there's a lot of data that has to be ignored because it doesn't fit the meta-analysis. It can't be analyzed. And I guess that's where I don't know. It's funny because I think Mamoon, seeing faces on here, and Bryce, I can't see your face, but because I really do, I yell. I'm like pointing at people and talking. Look crazy. Actually, I am being recorded. I'm sure I look really crazy in the recording. So I'm watching Mamoon because I can tell like Mamoon likes stats more than some people on here, and Mamoon's more comfortable in stats, which is somewhat. It's part of that. Is how comfortable are you running stats and how comfortable, so everybody has different levels, right? Oh, we just lost Bryce entirely. I didn't mean to call him out. Come back. So I can watch people react in different ways based on how much, whereas I think Sam is more on my side of like, really, about the stats. Um, you know, um, anyway, so meta-analysis is cool. Anyway, it's just what's a good way to put it? Yeah, I just don't trust it. But no, don't listen to me on this entirely. Please don't listen to me. Y'all fall in love with meta-analysis. They're great. If you can do them, they're fantastic. Basically you're trying to estimate that overall what effect size. But anyway. So okay, umbrella review. What's an umbrella review?
So
Umbrella review. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, no, that's what I was just saying. Yeah, take it up. Yes, Mamoon.
Okay, so I think umbrella reviews kind of combine everything like the systematic review, meta-analysis, and everything.
Not entirely. Ooh, I have to admit, Bryce. Bryce is back. Yay! We missed you. I thought I chased you off. I was very sad. That's
is it like a review of the review?
a good way to put it.
I
That
that's
works.
my best conceptual
Right.
of it.
So
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
it's
that's a good way to
where
put
we
it.
have multiple systematic reviews and meta-analysis. So it's the multiple of, yeah, it's the review of the multiple reviews. That's all I was saying. Is that what you tried to say, Mamoon, and I didn't hear it?
Yeah, I wanted to say that,
Yeah,
yeah, but I
that's
think
what
she
you were
put it
trying to say.
in best way, yeah.
Okay,
Is
sorry.
that so? Could that, in theory, kind of come in and cancel out one of
You would
those?
hope not.
Yeah,
That's a
yeah, I
great
would hope
point.
not as well.
You would definitely hope not, and that means there's something that went very, very wrong
Yeah.
at the earlier level.
So I guess a
And
better
that's
way to say that is that's where we would find maybe any problems that were not caught.
well, I mean, because again, that's not the purpose.
Okay.
It's not trying. I mean, that's an interesting point there. It's not trying to catch where something was done wrong earlier. It's
Hmm.
trying, I think, it's trying to build upon additional evidence
So
to be
more
able to draw
strengthen.
either. And so I, yeah, more to strengthen a conclusion,
Hmm.
or to take it to asking a different question, because you have more pieces of information that you're now able to ask a more advanced question
Yeah.
or something. I don't know. Again, those are not things that and then you get even higher in terms of thinking to where you get to the subgroup and the meta regression analysis stuff, right? Um, so that's more nuanced as opposed to higher, right? So it's like, does anybody want to take a stab at any of those?
I think it's like a statistical method that shows how results differs from each other. Like
Yeah,
maybe, yeah, maybe like one study focused on elder population group, another study on young adult. Their result is
yeah.
different, but we know that why
Hmm.
they're different.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I get more excited about those. Oh, hello, Bryce is back. Poor Bryce. Sorry, you're back times two. Technology is great when it works, right? So yes, what you were saying, usually one of the things is you're supposed to have a predefined group there, I think. So, and I think that's cool where you can't, because a lot of our stuff we can't really compare, and this gives us a chance to compare between predefined groups, right? So yeah. The meta regression, oh geez. Is the what makes that specific? It's whether you're looking at whether there's certain characteristics that explain the differences that you saw, basically, I think. Gosh, I hope that's right. So, like if you see differences in effect size by different groups, across studies, this kind of gets to what you're saying, Ricky, to a certain extent, that if you find that things are disagreeing, this gives you a reason why it may be disagreeing
Yeah,
to a
would
certain
that
extent.
kind of differentiate like this happens with this age group, but not this age group? Would that be where could kind of see the similarities and differences? Hey,
That's where you're intentionally doing the subgroup or the meta regression analysis to
okay,
look
yeah.
between groups. Yeah. Yep.
Oh, okay. That's so
Cool.
interesting.
Yeah, isn't it? It really is. I think it's very, very much I think it's all fun stuff. And that's why I've been doing this for a million trillion years, because I cannot get bored doing this. So the heterogeneity. Um That's I think I put that on this week's topics, if I remember from your pre-exam. Does anybody want to talk about what they think heterogeneity means?
Um, I was just going to say when you collect the data from different studies, but all of the components are slightly different, so you can't compare as well. Like say, like the one I'm doing right now, if all the interventions are using different apps, so it's hard to say that a specific app will help you if all the evidence collected comes from multiple different ones.
Right. So if you're talking about differences, and it can be, like you said, it can be in the participants, like they're just differences in the participants, the types of intervention, or maybe what they're measuring in the outcomes, or how they're reporting the results. And so when if we go back to where we're talking about the a statistical analysis that we could be doing, if we have a high heterogeneity, then you're going to have less confidence that you're going to be in the pooled estimates that you have, because they were really kind of estimates from different groups that you're now putting together. So you can have some concerns there, if that makes sense. Okay. So the last thing, okay, I'm going to be nice and not try to do, although it's such a cool activity. If I ever get extra time in any other week, I'm totally going to do this activity because you would love it and it's a lot of fun. But it involves you looking up articles and putting it into a table. And y'all are being kind and y'all have already been here for a long time. So I'm going to be nice and not do my fun activity, but I'm sad. But the only other thing I wanted to make sure to say something about is the Prisma. Uh, what is Prisma? Since this is the only time in systematic reviews where we talk about these kinds of things. What are our guidelines? Meg has them and she can pull out the Meg and Rebecca can give you actual references here you can go look at.
All I remember about Prisma is that it's like preferred reporting something
Oh wow, you
meta-analysis.
remember what it stands for. Holy
Well,
crud.
it's those, we have so many little things that they stick.
That's
It it
that's
caught me
cool.
off
That's
guard
not.
with PIMDAS. I think I just equated the two,
Let's see if I can find. I'm trying to find your
but I don't remember
but
what
I'll find it.
exactly.
I will put them in your so basic or no, instead of me saying what it is, I'll be quiet. I'm trying to. Who wants to talk about the Prisma? I'm putting it in chat as we do this. So you can go look at them if you're interested.
I feel like Prisma is more like a summary of the process one goes through during the systematic review.
Yes. Yeah, there's steps. Yeah, that's what it. Okay. So I put those in the grab those from the chat. Go look them up. They're very interesting. I will only review what we're doing next week. And hold on, I gotta pull that up. You can always tell when I'm trying to. Sorry if I get up in your face. I do not have the best eyes in the world. Um, so next week we are going to be talking about. Okay, so next week we're going to be talking about non-experimental designs. So primarily descriptive, associational, comparative, and we'll look at observational research, study, correlational research. We'll talk about in terms of some basic stats, not going heavy into stats. Um, and what you'll need to do is you'll have your topic area that you pick, and you submit that online. So that's already set by next week. And then you will find one article that is within your topic area, and it's a non-experimental design. And you will be not spending a lot of time, but giving a short summary of that, both as something written that you, oh, hold on, I have to go up. Let me get to the where I wrote about this, and now I'll share my screen. Here it is. Okay. Sorry, now I'm sharing my screen. All right. So what you'll need to do is you'll be doing your article summary. So your summary should include the following. Put your reference on there, whatever their research question was. This can be bulleted. This does not need to be long. Please do not spend a lot of time on this. What type of research design it was. Was it observational? Independent and dependent variables. Uh, does everybody remember? Yeah, not no, actually, here's my favorite. And this, sorry if this is sexist or genderist at all, I don't know. How I remember independent. Marissa, do you remember? Because I don't think you may be the only person here who's heard my way of remembering that I taught myself in undergrad.
Yeah, it's like strong, independent women change the world.
Yeah. So a strong, independent woman can make a difference. Yeah. Could make the difference. Yeah. Change. Yeah. Change or change the world. But yes. So sorry. Sorry, Mamoon. I'm a woman. That's how I remembered it for me.
Hey,
So
I think that's wonderful. That's not
sure.
downing men, that's just uplifting
No, it's just how I
women.
remembered it then. So that's how I could always remember my independent was the one that makes the change the world. Um, Anyway, so back to the point. What was the point? Let me move over. When I stop and see you guys, I have to move it over so I can see you. You are also going to talk about, how they're sampling, what the if they manipulated the independent variable, if it's that type of study, we're not there yet. How they collected the data, what kind of analysis was used. You don't have to explain it. You just mention, whatever it was. They did an ANOVA, done. And then basically what they found. The limitations of the study is probably the part that you have to think about the most, but they probably wrote them out if they did a decent study. Then in class, you're just going to spend about 5 minutes. You do not have to have a slide for this part. This is the part that I wanted to make sure because I think I might have said it backwards last time. I'm sorry if I did. Um, so no slide for the article summary. You're just talking about this cool article you found for about 5 minutes. Then the other thing that you'll be doing is you do have the 1 page descriptor of a research project. It doesn't have to be a full page. You just want to pick one of the methodologies from next week and use your topic area and come up with some fun or realistic, whatever you want it to be, research design that I recommend just is very straightforward, just shows that you know the research design, that somebody can say, hey, give me an observational study on the effect of clowns. No, okay, so anyway, whatever. And then you will have this one, I do want one slide on, and you will be having 5 minutes to be able to present about your research. Okay. So, any questions about what you need to do for next week? And I think that's it. Let me scroll down here. So, topic, you'll be talking. I'll give your article summary, research design. I'm hoping you don't have to spend more than, say, 30 minutes in total on all of this, okay? Does that help put that into perspective, maybe? Where did you guys go? I can't find you. I cannot find you. You're missing.
We're here.
Oh, no, there you are. All right, that's green over here. I found you. All right. Any questions on what you need to do for next week? Okay. So again, the main goal of this, I know it's a long time, and some days I will try to talk faster and go shorter time period. Um, I know it's a long time to take at one time, but don't take a lot of time outside of class. It's an experience. Okay. Any questions, thoughts? Throw me out a window. What did you get yourself into? All right. I see you guys next week. I'll see
Oh,
some
I
of you.
do. Will you be posting this recording?
Yes, I
Okay,
will do
cool.
that.
That's my only question.
Yeah, we're good.
Well, thank you so much.
Sure. See you guys soon.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you for hanging in there.